Okay, hello, this is our first video I'm making you for your review for the AP exam. Good to see you all. And hopefully you have had a chance to watch the video on exploring and understanding data. Um, just remember that these are going to be provided for you every week. I'm going to go through 6 units. It's really important that you take time to go through the video, take notes on important concepts and vocabulary, and that you bring those questions to me during office hours on Thursdays or on Monday. Hopefully, you'll be watching the videos the weekend before. And then I'll be giving you 5 questions to go through during the week, and then I'll be creating these videos going through it just as I would in class. You can watch them at your leisure, and then if you have questions, you can bring them to me during office hours. So hopefully I'm going to have these all done by the end of the day today so that you can ask me questions tomorrow. And hopefully you've worked through these already. So our first question here has a pretty simple two-way frequency table. And they're asking you for the marginal distribution and mode of transportation for car, bus, and train. If you remember, marginal means using the margins. So if we just look at this marginal distribution here, for car, we're basically going to take 82 divided by 420. So 82 divided by 420 would be our, let's just do it here for letter A. I'm just going to move this over. So if we wanted to do letter A here, the marginal distribution for the car would be 82 over 420. It looks like for the bus, it's 126 over 420. And for the train, 212 over 420. So we use that total 420. And then if we reduce those to percentages, it looks like the car comes out to be 19.5%. The bus is 30%. And the remainder, over half of the people, ride the train. Doesn't matter if they're in management or if they're on labor. So that's our marginal distribution. If we go on to question B, it asks you, what is the conditional distribution? So they're adding a condition there, and the condition is management, right? Which means we're going to start working with this inside part of the table here. So we get rid of the margins, and we're just going to go to the inside part. So we're going to look at management only. I should do this for a living, right? Online videos, Mr. Montgomery's statistics channel. So we want to know the conditional distribution for management. And we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did in the previous example, except in this case, we're only using management. So if we calculate those, for the car, amongst managers, 26 of them write it out of a total of 90. We have far fewer managers than people that work in labor, by the way. These are the bosses, and these are the people that work for them. Managers that ride the bus, we only have 20 of them that ride the bus out of 90. And riding the train, which seems to be very popular, looks like we have about half of them, which is no different than the overall percentage. So if we calculate all three of these, looks like this comes out to be 28.9%. The next one is 22.2%. And then the last one is 48.9%. All right, so let's move on to the next one. This is a question that should only take you, you can go back and look at that. What kind of display would we use? This is categorical data. So categorical data, we'd probably use I'd probably use the segmented bar graph. And our other type that we use for categorical data is a circle graph. Then as you recall, there's a question here about independence, and this is early on in the course when we talk about independence. We really are asking, is there any difference between management and labor when we start looking at these conditional distributions? And if you look, you can't just look at the counts because there's a lot more people in the labor group. So we have to look at them as percentages to really compare the groups. So we already have the percentages for management. If we just go on and do the same thing for labor, we can compare them. So if I just went on to part D, so let's say this is management. I'm going to do the same thing for labor. So if we go on to the car for labor, I'm going to go back here. We're going to use 56 over 330. So let me make this smaller. All my problems I have in the classroom coming back to haunt me. So 56 over 330. And the next one is 106 for the bus is 106 over 330. And then the last one is the train. And the train for labor is 168 over 330. And if we look at those three distributions, it looks like labor for car falls to 17%. For bus, it increases to 32.1%. So already we see these are not going to be independent because those subcategories are not the same. But for the train, it's almost the same. So for independence, what we're looking for, there should be no difference between the conditional distribution and the marginal distributions. And we can see the marginal distributions are 19.5%, 30%, and 50.5. But if we look at them broken down amongst managers, 28.9%, which means a larger percentage of them drive their cars, rather than this group of labor. We can see this group here, only 17% of them drive their car. And then we look to buses, we have more people on the bus for labor than we do for management. So we would say for part D, we would say, no, they're not independent because not independent, dependent. And you could say, although half in each group take the train, management is more likely, apologize for my writing, to take the car while labor takes the bus more often. I promise I will be neater on the next one, although I say that in class all the time. All right, so that's question number 11. And click on the next one to see question 12.